Welcome back, guys. Jcfigz here, and today I'm going to show you 10 of the rarest action figures currently in my collection. Now these are listed in no particular order and vary across different toy lines, toy companies, and years. So we'll go ahead and start off with number 10 here. We have the WWE Backlash Series 2 Hulk Hogan action figure. Now only a few months ago, I didn't even know that this figure existed. I just started getting into bone-crunching action figures within the last few months, and when I learned that there was a Hulk Hogan bone-crunching action figure, I absolutely had to have it. But it was very difficult to find. Luckily, I found one loose and one to keep mock for decent prices. The cheapest one I've seen on eBay recently is about $55–$60, so it's not terrible, but it is pretty pricey for a bone-crunching action figure. It looks like one of the classic Superstars Hulk Hogan head scans, and it just looks great. As a bone-crunching action figure fan, I was definitely happy to add this to the collection, and it's certainly one of my standouts in the BCA line. Coming in at number 9, we have the 1 of 3,000 Cody Rhodes AEW Unmatched Series 4 action figure. This figure looks really good, and of course it's only 1 of 3,000, which makes it one of the rarest figures I have in my collection currently. And as we all know, Cody Rhodes is on his way to the top of WWE, having won the 2023 Royal Rumble. Soon he'll be facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania and hopefully bringing back the WWE Winged Eagle Championship. This is definitely one of my favorite AEW action figures in my collection. Next up at number 8, we have the all-pink bone-crunching action figure Bret the Hitman Hart. Now I believe this Bret Hart figure was only released once in a 2-pack with Owen Hart, and it is very hard to find mock or loose. I was fortunate enough to find one on Mercari for only $12, so I had to scoop it up as soon as I saw it. And this is another figure that really pops in the BCA collection. I can't wait for the Mattel WWE Ultimate Edition all-pink Bret the Hitman Hart to come out in the next month or two. And if you're looking to get your hands on one of these all-pink BCA Bret Harts, you can usually find it mock in the 2-pack with Owen Hart for around $100–$150. But maybe if you're a loose collector, you'll get lucky and find one cheap like I did. Next up at numbers 7 and 6, we have the WWF LJN red and white shirt Hulk Hogan action figures. Now, I'm not sure if I would go so far as to call them action figures due to the lack of articulation. Nevertheless, there's still 2 of the most rare figures currently in my collection. As a kid, they were some of the first toys I ever played with and some of the first wrestling figures I ever had. However, I did not have these 2 rare ones. I had the yellow one. I saw these 2 pop up online for a really good deal, and being the huge Hulkamaniac that I am, I had to grab them both. Let me know if you're a fan of the old school WWF LJN figures in the comments below. Coming in at number 5, we have the UFC Legends Dan the Beast Severn action figure mock in-box signed. This figure alone is very difficult to find, even loose, but in-box and autographed is nearly impossible. And buying it mock will run you at least $150–$200 online. This is absolutely one of the grails in my UFC collection. Dan Severn has one of the greatest WWF Raw entrances of all time. He came out with the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship as well as the UFC Championship. If that doesn't scream badass, I don't know what does. Coming in at number 4, I'm counting these as one just because I can, the tag team of the WWE Elite Dudley Boys. Now some of you may be asking, well, they're just Elite action figures, they're not that rare. However, they are because WWE no longer has contracts with the Dudley Boys, so they will no longer be able to produce action figures of them. If you haven't yet, definitely check out the video I made of the WWE Mattel re-releases and what it might mean for you as a collector. Being that these 2 are no longer involved with WWE means that these figures will never be re-released, at least not anytime soon. So that makes each of these safe from being re-released and part of the small group that will maintain value over time. Unless of course WWE eventually does get the rights back to the Dudley Boys and re-releases or upgrades their action figures. Number 3, we have a big boy here, Storm Collectibles Shao Khan Bloody Variation. Now this is one of the most, if not the most, rare Mortal Kombat Storm Collectibles action figures out there today. Even with the Mortal Kombat 9 Storm Collectibles Shao Khan coming out in a few months, this figure still demands a hefty price tag of $300. It's one of the most detailed and badass action figures I've ever seen, and definitely the coolest action figure in my entire collection. If you don't have any Storm Collectibles in your collection, I highly suggest you get at least one so you can see the sheer beauty and mastery of these action figures. Next up is another UFC action figure, Quentin Rampage Jackson UFC and Pride title unification 1 of 1,000. Being that it's 1 of 1,000, it's obvious why this is one of the most rare figures in my collection currently. And honestly, I was tempted to take it out just so I could get the Pride FC belt. However, FiguresToyCompany.com still has the UFC, Pride FC, and WEC championships to order. And if you use discount code Jcfigz on orders $20 and more, you'll save 10%. So if you're a UFC collector and you need some title belts, check out FiguresToyCompany.com, get them from there. This figure is just awesome. The likeness to Quentin Rampage Jackson is there. You can tell it's him. The shorts look great. The titles look great. The sticker on the front looks really good. The box art is awesome. This is another one of my favorite UFC figures in the collection. And last but not least, the rarest action figure in my collection and definitely the most controversial. If you're following me on Instagram, JC_Figs, you've probably already seen this. Jakks Pacific WWF WrestleMania 17 Chris Benoit autographed action figure. I still don't know how I feel about having this, but a friend of mine actually had a couple of different Chris Benoit signed figures, and when we did a trade, I figured I might as well grab one because I will probably never see it again in my life. However, I still might end up trading it or selling it eventually down the road. Jakks Pacific did do a really good job capturing the head scan because they did have the real scan technology back then, and these old school Jakks Pacific figures really bring me back to my childhood. I used to play with these all the time when I was a kid. I would even bring them to school and play with them during lunch and play with them after school. These were some of my favorite figures as a child. Even though now with all the articulation we have, looking back, we didn't have a whole lot, and in terms of playability, you really had to use your imagination. But that's it, guys. Those are 10 of the rarest action figures currently in my collection right now. Let me know which one you think is the coolest in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, peace!
Perfect.